We've got Hayley in Sage Ward. Hi there, Hayley. You've asked the panel about dogs. You're in hospital now because you was attacked by an American bulldog in the street, and you think that there's a problem with out-of-control dogs. Well, you don't think, you've experienced a problem with out-of-control dogs. What would you do about that, Farid?
Hi there, Hayley. I think this is an issue, and I've actually walked down the streets in Walthamstow, and you see youngsters with dangerous-looking dogs, and for some reason, these youngsters think that these dogs are sort of a badge of honour, and I think we need to kind of change the culture. With our youngsters, our young adults, that having a dog is a responsibility. I think you've got to educate people that dogs can be dangerous if allowed to be aggressive and so forth. So it's a matter of education. If you educate the youngsters to look after their dogs, to treat them well, and not to use them as weapons occasionally, that you would actually avoid the problem.
Okay, and Andy?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't. I mentioned in my intro about people allowing their dogs to mess on the pavement, and that's just like a first step of it. We're irresponsible dog ownership. I think we need to look at the people who breed these dogs, and a lot of these dogs are bred illegally. They're not in registered kennel club breeding homes, etc. But I think the thing is, it all comes down to personal responsibility of the person who owns a dog. There's no such thing as a bad dog. There's a bad owner. Now, I have to turn around and say I have a little dog myself, and he's not the most obedient dog in the world. But I know that's my fault. He doesn't come when I call him. That's my fault. I leave my dinner within easy reach. He steals my dinner. That is my fault for not training him properly, and this is what it all comes down to. These people are having dogs, but they're not training them properly.
And Stella?
Yeah, well, actually, I think I'm a bit tougher than both these guys on this, because I think this is about having dog wardens. There are two problems we have here in Walthamstow. One is people who don't understand how to look after their dogs. There's a great project called Bark that the RSPCA are doing with dog wardens, and I'm really pleased to see the local authority pledging to bring in more dog wardens, because that's going to support that work. Those are people who can go and talk to those young people who have dogs who perhaps don't know how to look after them, don't understand about dog welfare. But the second problem we do have is a growing issue around people fighting dogs, and I think we need to take a much tougher line on that. That's why I'm campaigning for more police for Walthamstow, because that is a criminal offence. I think we have to be tough on those people who have these dogs, and also tough on the causes of people not understanding how to look after them. Definitely. And also, can I just say, I hope Hayley gets better soon.
Okay, and we had Mildred as well on a similar antisocial behaviour issue with phone cables. Her phone cables, believe it or not, have been vandalised, and she's experienced criminal damage near where she lives. How can government change society? Because maybe this is my opinion, but I think there needs to be a change in society and how people think and how people respect each other, and there needs to be more respect within society. How do you think government can change that, Andy?
Well, it's not just the role of government here, it's the role of community groups, it's the role of the community, it's the role of individuals to have more respect for each other. As I initially said when I was talking, one of the first reasons I got involved in politics was young people. The fact of the matter is, a lot of young people are bored, and when young people are bored, they've got all this energy throwing around. We was all young at once, we had all this energy, but we had things to do. There's not that much for people to do now, so what do? They hang around on street corners, they get bored, they look at something to do, and the next thing they do, they're smashing windows, they're pulling out phone cables. So it's all to do with not only catching these people and punishing them for the things that they do wrong, but it's also showing them there's other things they can be doing to channel the energy that they have.
If I can just add to what Andy said, I think there's also a responsibility that the family has. I remember when I was growing up, I used to live on Kingsley Road, just off Forest Road, and I used to go to Chapel End. And walking down St John's Road, if you ever threw a piece of paper on the floor, or you spat, or you took gum out, before the evening, a lady from St John's Road had gone round to my house and told my parents, and my parents would, give me a clip round the ear. I think there is a responsibility for parents and for families and for communities to actually ensure that our children know what responsibility is, and to respect our environment.
Stella.
Well, look, as somebody who works with a lot of teachers and a lot of young people in this borough, I think we have to be careful not to demonise our young people. Yes, there are some young people who behave badly. We don't know whether it's young people who cut the phone cables on this road. So let's exercise some caution. Most of the kids around here are good kids. Yes, they need youth activities, and yes, we need more police for our streets. We also need antisocial behavioural orders to deal with those people who are persistent offenders. And actually, those powers are there for the police if they want to use. The question is how we're using them on the ground. So I don't think it's any one thing, but I think we need to be really careful in these debates not to presume that it's all to do with young people, or it's all to do with teachers, or it's all to do with families, because actually it's different in different cases, and it's really important.
I'd certainly agree with that, but I'd just like to say one other thing that we're finding about ASBOs is a lot of people who have ASBOs treat them as a badge of honour.
Yeah.
And that is a real issue. They don't treat it as a deterrent. It's, I've got an ASBO, how great am I?